Greetings, beautiful soul family. This is Tarun Harry Das here again with another too much to talk about. And when I say there's too much to talk about on this year one, I go rock the boat from the left to the right. There's so much to cover on this episode. From I met this beautiful soul, this gentleman here, Basil Palmer, it's made such a shift in my own life and such a shift in many others' life. Uh, this series, I'm doing a little series called Looking Back, Going Forward. And looking back, I want to look at what we've gone through experientially through 2025. 2025 has created some massive challenges for some people, some massive challenges in the concept of healing and aiding healing and challenging the concept of defiancy in the mindset of peoples. And now there's many people that are waking up to the calling to address their not so wellness aspect of being. And it's been a lonely path for myself until I actually came across Mr. Basil from Pempamsie. And I'm going to say that with real genuinity because the sincerity, the modality, and the authenticity that I've seen Mr. Basil Palmer contribute, the way how he works, everything. There's so much to learn from just being in this man's aura and from mentorship to guidance to just even getting a consultancy for your health. Just talking to him, you learn things on the fly. So not so much to just drill into all of these aspects of what we can learn, but what we've achieved together from coming together, especially from the CBD and all things natural retreat. We haven't even had a chance to sit down and talk about that. And also, he was the gentleman that called me to come along and do the Parkinson's disease case solo retreat in the UK. So there's so much for us to reflect on and so much to talk about in going forward and what we're planning to do. So let's bring Mr. Basil Palmer to the conversation. How are you doing again, sir?
Good evening, my brother. I'm well. It's been a busy day. It's been a busy week. It's been a busy month. Actually, it's been a really busy year, but it's all good. So it's always a pleasure to be on the podcast with you. Anyway,
You're looking amazing every time. And I love the style where I go on with you look.
yeah,
How
yeah.
how have you been doing? I know that the retreat was a whole new experience for you yourself. I mean, that's one of the things I want to talk about, just how you kind of related to the whole experience, especially coming from your angle in the wellness game and stepping into a whole new space of how I work with the mind and metaphysics and the sound bowls and so forth, and how it relates, how much you can relate to it, and so forth. So, in your own words, just start rolling off from let's go from when we first met, from actually that physical meeting. That I've been talking to this amazing person on the phone. We've done interviews online, and then we've finally met to do the retreat. And I was in awe just from the get go, just from the whole presence. You saw how everybody was attracted to your audience and your guidance and so forth. How was it for you going through the experience?
Um, well, first of all, because I'd never been on a retreat before,
Hmm.
I'd spoken about retreats, been on spa days, but I'd never been on anything like this. And so for me, I was a bit apprehensive, to be honest, and I didn't really know what to expect. Um, and there were a few curveballs that got in the way. Um, in fact, just before I left, and I wondered to myself, is this an omen? Am I not meant to go? Because I had, one member of staff who was pregnant and who was due to go on maternity leave after the retreat. And the week before the retreat, she phones up and says, "Oh, I'm under the weather. I've got a cold. I can't go to work." And she was actually quite integral to my busiest
Hmm.
shop. And she says, actually, I'm meant to start my maternity leave after 8 months pregnancy. I meant to start at the end of next week, which would have been when I was coming back. And she was like, "But I'm just going to start it now." And this was a lady that did 4 days a week.
Okay, wow. So you had many
Yeah, she did
staff.
4 days a week in the shop from 2 till 7. So she did 5 hours, 4 days a week. But that kind of drove a bus through my staffing. And she's experienced. She's been with me for like 5, 6 years. So,
Okay,
um,
so
so
managerial level.
yeah, I literally had a week to organize staff, and I managed to persuade one of my suppliers, in fact, who isn't a herbalist, but she makes products, but she's trustworthy, and she was willing and she was able, and that's basically what happened. Is that she stepped in. Um, Otherwise, there would have been a real prospect of me having to lock the shop up at 2 o'clock
Oh my
for
God.
4 days out of that week if I hadn't managed to get someone to cover, which would have been a disaster. So, but we got around that. And in fact, it wasn't that bad. She did quite well. And the other staff members kind of, everybody rallied around, and it was okay. Um, but I think when I got there and I saw the facilities, um, I was really impressed because it just looked like a place where you could heal, looked like a place where you could rest. It was in a nice, quiet environment, um, and it just looked nice. So, based on that, I started to feel more comfortable. And
Mm.
then the more I met the participants, um, is the more relaxing it felt. And to be honest, I felt a sense of gratitude being there, in the sun, in a nice healing space with some nice people, um, and actually being there. Um, it was a pleasure because I participated in as much as I could,
That's
in
right.
addition to doing, whatever I had to do. So yeah, um, it was good, and it ended up with me really being converted to retreats. Why did I wait so long? I should have been part of this. I should have been doing these things years ago, but
Mhm.
everything comes in the right time. So I in my own words, I felt like it was an enlightening experience. And one of the best things that I came away with from the retreat was seeing healing in real time in front of my eyes in the course of a week.
Yeah.
So a combination of, I'm sure, the exercise, cleansing, the breath work, the sound healing, the energy, even just the dialogue, and sitting down with people and then giving them consultations and giving them an opportunity to talk about what it was that they felt challenged with health wise, and then coming up with a solution, and bringing having elements there already, and the
Hmm.
sunshine, um, everything combined. It was transformational, and I saw it in front of my eyes, and that's what's made me a convert and made me think, well, you know what, this definitely has to be. It's the first, but it's not going to be the last one that I'm going to be part of.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was a big pleasure having you there. And, admittedly, for the first retreat, we went. I'm not going to say above and beyond. There are elements of us going above and beyond. You always got to do that in your first sort of approach to things. Be willing to go above and beyond. But there were moments on that retreat that were really enlightening in that process of watching healing happen at a rapid rate. You know, there was a day that we actually couldn't get anybody to wake up, and that was quite. You know, it was just me and you awake on the whole campus. You know, everybody was resting and healing, and for love nor money could we get them out of that space. But to see them the next day, it was like a miracle. I was like, wow, what has happened?
Mm,
It was really amazing to see how so many elements, especially from the physical, physiological, psychological, metaphysical, astrological, and soul level, when you really tap into these spaces and address them to bring them all into succinct alignment. And I have to give credence to the elements that you brought to the table because we're talking about people losing at least 3 pounds for the week,
mm,
minimum,
mm.
minimum. It's not no longer just in your head, it's tangible. It's and it's not like you lose weight and you know like when you lose weight and you don't feel good because you lost the weight. People are scared to lose the weight in the wrong areas, but did you know that you could carry at least 20 kilos of garbage within you? And the formula that you came up with for the cleansing, whether it was through the attendees method or through the gentle magnesium citrate method, you know, you was very compassionate to understand everybody's approach to the whole thing, and you took everybody through the process like them was for you on a picnic. You understand? And
Yeah,
your energy around us helping with the guidance and the medicine and very being very particular to say make sure that one gets two of that blah 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 did that, yeah, write that down, make sure. It literally felt like a surgery at stages.
yeah. I mean, essentially, we're all individuals, and it's never going to be a one size fits all, especially when it comes to herbal medicine, because your tolerance, your constitution, your metabolism is different to mine. So while there's a lot of commonality, the way that you decide what's your optimum dose is literally to incrementally increase it until it starts to purge you or you start to feel the side effects of overdose and then roll it back. So, it's always important when dealing with herbal remedies to understand your client and to understand their needs and to match whatever you're doing, in a bespoke.
Accordingly,
Yeah.
very, and this is the integral side that I saw about, it wasn't just about just chucking products down them. He was very meticulous in how you guided each attendee through their program. And again, in the consultations that unfolded, and people are now trusting themselves to actually open up and talk about issues that they didn't talk about before. But now they see that there's a real chance of addressing it for the, you know, I'm gonna bring it out. Because it's got to be something that's got to be dealt with. And if this is an opportunity to deal with it now, we can deal with it. And to see that power on that level of integrity play out, that each and every individual person on that retreat left shining like a light bulb with not just results that they could take away with from in the here and now. They left with understanding not just a pipe dream, but a reality that they could live to if they stick to the formula and continue with their program, not just for the week, but for months, 3 months. So the aftercare program that you've put together for them as well, especially on a health level, because this is the thing. And I think this is where the dynamics came into play, because in conversation, we've spoke about people coming to the shop, purchasing products, bringing them home, but never actually taking the medicine. And this is a beautiful opportunity in a space what we've created that not only are we here to actually start taking the medicine, but look at the whole holistic lifestyle that works with the idea of taking the medicine. So that that idea of consistent defiancy that you can't even challenge for your own self, when you're in the right environment, those concepts melt. You have to come, you actually end up in a place of not just realization, but actualization. You actually go through the process and relish in the outcome. So, going forward, the retreats that we're planning to do, especially for the next one coming up in April, we've got another one planned for April the 11th to the 18th, coming up in 2026. What we've discussed in going forward, because one of the things that we've been talking about behind closed doors is how can we perfect the program for the next one? How can we best prepare people for the program so they get the fullness out of the program, not just for the 7 days, but even if we address concepts of them starting their consultations and starting their treatments pre coming to the retreat. This is a special bonus idea that we are now coming up with, which is a great inventive idea from what Basil brought to the table in looking what how we can interject and come up with a concept to add more benefit to the package so that if you go through a detox program first or so forth, when you come to the retreat, now you can get onto the real energetic upbeat side of it. So just in your own words, I just want you to describe how you can see the molding of what we can create going forward and how that formula looks for other people actually attending.
Yeah, of course. I think um, what we would be trying to achieve would be the maximum benefit to add the maximum value. So even though when you're booking for a retreat, you're booking for a 7 day window, but 7 days is not a lot of time to see real um, results
Or
because
sustained results.
well, even it was actually
Because we saw
it was,
results.
we saw results, yeah. But in terms of the grand scheme of things, what we saw was the tip of the iceberg, as impressive as it was,
Hmm.
yeah. So typically, um, we're going to start with say a colon cleanse.
Hmm.
We would do a pre-cleanse for up to 5 to 6 days
Hmm.
before, you know, before we even hit an Atumbi tablet.
Hmm.
And because it was a 7 day window, we had to kind of contain
Hmm.
it within. So we narrowed down the length of that pre cleanse.
Hmm.
But I think that what would make a massive difference is if we really understood the needs, the individual needs, every single participant, attendee on the next retreat. And by doing that, you literally have to have a consultation, not just on the retreat or at the retreat, but prior to the retreat, because there was a whole range of health challenges on the last one, and you know it was just through sheer luck that we were able to bring a range of products. And then we bought some stuff for blood cleansing, we bought some stuff for high blood sugar, we bought some stuff, for high blood pressure. We bought additional products, even though what we were planning was more or less a generic, detox program with, colon, bowel, blood, arterial, parasites, an alkaline program. But we did actually bring some additional um, remedies and
Right.
vitamins and
Yeah.
minerals and stuff for sleep.
I'm
Uh,
sure I saw dog's blood there as well at Sam's.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, there was a good range of stuff there.
yeah. And those were just more or less bought that just in case,
Hmm.
these things were
They
required.
come up, yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like now that we've understood and now that I've seen exactly how challenging it can be to kind of think on your feet, it's going to be far more efficient is maybe 2 weeks before the retreat, at least 2 weeks before, everybody has a one-to-one so that we can see, because you may even book in December, but your health challenge may be totally different by the end of March.
Yeah.
So having that one-to-one consultation as part of the retreat, maybe 2 weeks before, what it does, it allows us to um, assess where you are in real time, start a process that gets some of the heavy lifting out of the way. Um,
Like a week before.
because, yeah, like at least a week before, 10 days to a week before. Because, say, for argument's sake, you can take one day out just doing an atumbi. Once you've done that, and it seems a shame you're going to go all the way in the sun and then spend one day in your room because you can't, because you're doing a bowel cleanse. So
Mhm.
even if you get some of the heavy lifting done, in the days leading up or the
Yeah.
week before, yeah,
Mhm.
so it's that by the time you get to the retreat, we're really going to try and get to a point where your cleansing has started, your alkalizing program has started, the healing and the detoxification has started. Um, so
So you're
by
on an
the
upward trajectory.
Yeah, so towards the end of the retreat, you're, or halfway through, that's when you're starting to put in the minerals and the whatever vitamin deficiencies, whatever herbal remedies, whatever supplementary remedies, and you've got time to actually get into the step of using those, and that's when you're going to see real results.
Okay.
Yeah, because cleansing and unfortunately it happens all the time that people, they feel challenged health wise. They have a detox, they have a bowel cleanse, and they have a colon flush, and they start taking some probiotics, and straight away they feel a little bit better, and all of a sudden the urgency and the enthusiasm to continue starts to wane because now, oh, that inflammation's gone. I'm sleeping better. My lower back pain's kind of
Yeah.
disappeared. So what we want to do is let them understand that if you actually complete the process and start to take your chromium and your berberine or your beetroot or your, whatever it is, your magnesium, whatever it is that your body's calling out for your D3, and you're putting those minerals and vitamins and supplements into a nice clean vessel, they're going to absorb more readily, they're going to metabolize better, and you're going to see some amazing results.
Beautiful. So
Yeah.
really, so it's almost like
It's
uh
almost like a 2 week retreat,
it's
but
like a
part of it is
2 week
going to be at
retreat.
home. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
2 week retreat
For the price of one.
for the price of one.
Yeah,
Look at it like that. And yeah, you get your consultation before you go. You get your bespoke treatment.
plan. Yeah. So it'll be more a bespoke treatment plan rather than a generic treatment plan. Well,
Yeah,
there'll be elements that will be common to everyone.
that's
But,
right. So when
if
they
you're
come,
suffering from high cholesterol, or you're suffering from constipation, or you're suffering from obesity, or whatever it is, you need
thyroid.
something specific
Yeah.
to your health challenge, and that's really where I think is gonna you're gonna see the best results.
And this is it because the thing is, once you deal with that pre-week treatment, By the time you get to the retreat, your energy,
Yeah.
your
Be
process of flexibility and adaptability to work with everything else, you're going to get more out of it.
100%.
You're bound to get more out of it. So
Yeah,
it's a double win-win.
it
I
is.
thought it was a, yeah, I thought it was an amazing idea when you first came up with it. I thought, amazing. This is exactly, when we talk about expanding a program to meet the needs of what is relative to what people are going through out there. And it's really sad to hear. I don't think a day goes by where you don't hear some bad news of someone who's fallen really ill or some serious disease take them or even life itself. It's the news is so fast and furious coming. So we have to upgrade our program to meet that demand of how sickness is so rampant out there. And again, that aspect of implementing knowledge and formulas to keep yourself outside of the net. Don't look at it as just a place to come and patch up. It's also a place for you to create formulas to keep yourself out of the net of negativity and illness. It's such a powerful space. And when you're doing it as a group whole as well, the the, the exercises, especially the one in the water. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, that was empowering. Yeah, it was empowering. And in fact, that whole day I felt was powerful because um, being out on a beach and and then the exercise where we held hands and went into the water backwards. And I mean, for me, I'm a confident swimmer. I swim in the sea on a regular basis. And even for me, just the thought of stepping backwards with a wave and not knowing when it's going to hit you, it had my ears pricked up. But
That's
for me personally, the best part of that day was the gratitude walk after,
yes,
because it really did put me in a space where I focused my mind on all the things that I had to give thanks for. And interestingly enough, I said, okay, we're going to walk for about a mile. We're going to walk 10 minutes one way and 10 minutes the other way. And it's not until I started walking back and I realized, wait a minute, I still got so much more to give thanks for, that I actually carried on walking.
that's right.
Yeah. And then turned around and came back. So I probably walked a mile and a half in
E-
total, or if not more, because, and I walked away from that feeling really energized.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like
But
a whole sea land, a new respect to the idea of gratitude.
yeah, definitely. So a lot of the things that were new to me. I mean, to be honest, I've been selling sound bowls for more than 20 years. I've sold small ones, slightly bigger ones, maybe to the size of sort of 6 inches. And people come in and people buy them. I sell them all the time.
Yeah,
I don't have one in my home, and I've never really used one apart from occasionally
yeah,
tapping it. Um, and that was the other thing that I really took away from all the sound healing sessions. I just found them so powerful, and I actually willed myself to try and stay awake. It was like some kind of sleeping potion just to my system, and I actually felt the vibration just resonating throughout my whole body, and I thought
yeah,
it was amazing. That was amazing.
yeah. The sound bowls, they are really, really powerful. They're almost like the nemesis of the whole thing in terms of when it comes to sound vibration, understanding that frequency, the right frequency. Those bowls are made out of seven metals, and those seven metals are the seven metals that resonate with the human body the best. So, and the oscillation of the waves means that they communicate with the body the best, and they are attuned to bringing certain energetic points back into alignment in a feeling of bliss and a feeling of outside of fight or flight, but relaxed. You're happy being you, feeling content, feeling whole, and feeling real and abled, not disabled, abled. Because that sonic frequency that you hold from that vibration, it's like it brings a sort of sense of newness to your being. Very powerful.
Yeah, extremely. I would agree. So I think, you know, I'm sure we learned a few lessons on the last retreat, and I'm sure there'll be more lessons to learn.
Yeah,
But what I look forward to moving forward is being really meticulous about how we learn those lessons and how we implement improvements and how we innovate on what we're doing and how we listen to the attendees and understand what worked for them and actually, use their feedback to finesse what we're doing to make it just better and just continuing continuous improvement on the model. Yeah.
absolutely.
So that, I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. It's given me a good whole new sense of approach to the whole thing. I've pulled out my scanner, and it's not just about learning how to scan people. It's not just about, oh yeah, let me stick the scanner on and just read the scanner. Like the level of knowledge that I am able to learn just in conversation, because again, you're at such a height. You got what, 15,000 products around you at least.
No, it's not that much. Honestly, we stock about between 4 and 5 thousand products.
4, 5,000 products.
Yeah. Mhm.
That's a lot of products.
It's a lot of products. Yeah,
That's and you
a
don't
thousand of those are just herbs, different herbs.
from your golden seals to your
Yeah, from your dandelion roots to your dog blood to your guinea hen weed to your golden rod, your corn silk, your pigeon bark, apricot kernels, your elderberries, your burdock root, you name it, your horny goat weed. Yeah, we got A to Z of herbs.
so outside of the retreats, because Pempamsie as a whole, I think, the community just really needs to hone in on on Pempamsie health stores because what can be achieved in terms of rapid healing. I've seen it with my own eyes. I mean, outside of the metaphysical stuff that I've done and the rapid healing results that I've achieved through aiding assistance in healing others, bringing in the concept of solidifying that from a physical point of view and your health, whether it's diabetes, this man's reverse diabetes, like it's bone wash, like you just I wash something out as like it's child's play, like it's nothing. And really, it's not even just about him delivering the way how I see his attention to his meticulous attention to detail and his approach, his linguistic approach. He inspires you to actually want to heal. Sometimes you got a doctor and the doctor give you bad news and you don't even want to take on the bad news. How about that? But Pempamsie or Mr. Basil Palmer, which is something that is instilled in all his staff and so forth, come from from the point of inspiring you to actually wanting to heal. That's priceless. That's priceless, and I got to give it to you, sir. It's not just like you're walking our boots and oh, can I help you? Yeah, can I have some anodine or whatever? No, I've been in this man's in Pempamsie in Brixton. The time when I went over to do uh, Devon, and I've gone over to the shop to get some stuff for myself as well. And I've seen people come in the shop And the way how the man eloquently breaks things down, it's like light bulb moment to them. It's like, Jesus, I actually need this in my life. You just eloquently explained that. Like, do you remember when you was explaining magnesium?
Yeah. But I think, to be honest, I'm going to humbly say, yeah, I walk on the shoulders people like Layla Africa, Dr. Layla Africa, people like Dr. Sebi, yeah, people that have gone there, been there, people like Queen Afua that have written the template, yeah, of how to help people heal. They've taken the time, they've put their energy into creating protocols. People like Darren Beeple, yeah, and I have to pay those guys
Come
respect because I've literally tagged along on their coattails and I've read their books and I've listened to them talk and I've gone on their podcast and I've over the years implemented their protocols and come up with my own body of knowledge based on the results from the
on.
people that I've been able to support with their health challenges. So, I don't want it to be, I don't even want it to be perceived, yeah, that
You
all
don't
of
care how you
the
want,
work that
perceive where you want. Me, I big you up. Me, I
understand.
get tired.
I say that because it's the truth.
Yeah, we all
Yeah,
come
it's the
from
truth.
stuff.
Like,
We all come from somewhere.
we've learned from those that have gone before, and we try to add value and make it relevant as relevant as it ever was.
Hmm.
Um, and we know that it works.
Hmm.
We know that it works. The herbs are there, and every day is a school day. So,
That's right.
I still go to seminars. I still do training. I
Hmm.
still, develop my knowledge and, encourage my team to build
Yeah, you're
in their own.
exercising your learner
Yeah,
autonomy.
yeah, that's right. But yeah, as you say, most of the time, what we lack is time. Even if you go to see a doctor, they can give you 10 minutes. You can talk about one thing.
That's
But
right. That's what
unfortunately,
I'm
a
talking
lot
about.
of the time, things are integrally linked,
Hmm.
and you solve one problem. You get to the root cause of one problem, you solve three or four.
That's right.
Yeah,
Domino effect.
yeah. So we work from a few premises, and one of them being obviously prevention is better than cure. You know, we say, your food should be your medicine. Your medicine should be your food.
That's right.
Yeah. And, until you get to the root, you're never going to solve the problem. So,
Absolutely.
we don't try and deal with symptoms, we try and deal with root causes.
Yeah. And me, I big you up.
Yeah,
Me not
yeah.
care who you study from, or who you learn from, or what you learn from them. Me not care. Me not care about that. Because again, you can learn because you can learn. It's what you do with that knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Eloquently synchronized all of this knowledge, not just for gain's sake. This is the most important bit that I want to actually get to. You didn't do all of this for gain's sake. You done this on a real humble humanitarian cause. And that's where you have to get tackled because enough enough of them are in it for the money. They will take something and say, listen, I know I got it for £5. I'm charging 100 because it's my name on it. You know this. And you're not practicing that.
There's no need.
I'm calling it out as it is.
Fair enough. And I mean, every man's entitled to do how they want to do their thing.
Yeah,
I'm staying in my lane, but from my perspective, there's no shortage of people that need help. There's no shortage of people that need help. There's no shortage of money. Yeah, you don't need to try and make all the money today. As a matter of fact, if you come to my shop and you don't have the money, I'll pay for the product, because the most important thing and the most important legacy is you being well.
That's right.
That's what it's about. That's what it's about. 100. We came into the world with nothing, and we're going to leave with nothing. So the best thing that
Mhm.
we can do is, is be supportive to our fellow human beings. That's how I
Absolutely.
look at life. And you know what? For anyone that understands the art of giving, they'll understand that you never lose. The universe doesn't sleep. It
No,
just comes back around. It comes back to you.
that's
So
right.
that's the reason why I'm not worried about money, because money comes, money goes.
It's all a part of the flow.
So yeah,
Yeah,
that's a really important part. Let things go, and it will come back to you if it's supposed to.
yeah. What will be yours will be yours.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so let's leave it right there because I know that there's so much that you've got to do. I know that in fact, I want to put it out there. I know that you've got a new look to your website coming up very shortly. So the whole vibes of Pempams is on a new upscale. You can get deliveries, you can get into the consultations, you can get into online delivery. What is popping up on his website right now? Listen, make sure you get your things ready for winter. For make sure you keep yourself well and all of that. So if you don't get to a chance to go to the retreat, this is what I want to say. Ultimately, at least go check out Pempamsie and sort your health and wellness out. Get yourself onto a consultation. It's going to do you great wonders. It can change your life around. What we're really promoting here is arms for you to get well. So don't think about, I'm here just to try and promote and get another retreat. I'm genuinely saying that there are formulas here that can genuinely change your life around for the better within a heartbeat. And one of them is getting onto Pempamsie mailing list or getting onto the Pempamsie website or getting yourself into a consultation. You're lucky if you catch Basil, but it'll be in your lucky stars to get this man on your side to aid in your wellness. And I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it there because that's ultimately one of the deepest messages that we want to say. Get well because we mean well for you. We want you well. That's what's going to count most. That's what's going to count most. So, have you got anything that you want to say in closing?
No, not really. Other than, I'm excited about next year. I'm excited about the website. I'm excited about a lot of the things that we're implementing in Pempamsie. Where we've been going for 30 years plus, and we literally wanted to be bigger, better, more useful, more effective. Yeah, more synchronized, more systematic, so that we help more people in our community. That's what it's all about. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Driving for greatness. Love it.
Hmm.
Beautiful. So, beautiful souls, it's been another wonderful insight in and deep dive into too much to talk about. So, if you're interested in the retreat, jump over to transcendingmatters.com. Check out the retreats page. It's Vital Nature, All Things Natural Retreat. Jump onto the program, get yourself down for a deposit, and you'll be scheduled for a consultation with Mr. Basil Palmer yourself. Pre the retreat, you're getting 2 retreats for the price of one, 2 weeks for the price of one. We're going to look after you that you go through the first week, that when you come to the retreat now, you're dip on a buzz, you're ready for flight. Take we go fly, go soar like eagle. If I say, well on, don't wait for it. You see it? Now it's going to be absolutely powerful. These formulas that we're coming with, they're absolutely life changing. And we just want to increase on that velocity to see the maximum that we can get out of implementing potential maximum growth within you. So check out the information on transcendingmatters.com. Fly over to the retreats page and drop your deposit, and you're in the game. So other than that, beautiful souls, we're going to leave it right there. Stay bold, stay beautiful, and stay on the best side of being you. Ashe.
Respect.
Bless her.